one.
Hello everyone. We have got some really good information if you're thinking to buy or sell real estate in 2026. And the reason behind that is that we just had our crib forecast on January 20th. That gave us some insights of what kind of market we should be looking at in 2026. Keep this in mind. Now, when they're predicting all these things, they're predicting under current circumstances. If anything changes, obviously it'll have impact on the market. But the insights that we got are very informative, and there is so much in these ones that will help you make a decision if you're thinking to buy or sell. Now, most of the stuff in this video actually is quite related to what we have been doing in the past. Our numbers, whatever we've been bringing to you, are pretty close to what we've been predicting in our videos in the past to what crib is forecasting right now. So now let's start with the first graph right here. This is what they're thinking. As you know that, obviously the market is slowing down, and the biggest impact that we're seeing is actually on the condo market side. Now, in this graph, you can see right here, there was a big drop in 2006 and 7. Prices were coming down, sales were down, but we're not in that same territory. Now, the other thing I also want to mention that we are not talking about Toronto or Vancouver market here. They're very different. Their market is really actually coming down quite hard, and investors and everybody is really trying to find some safe haven, but it's not easy. But anyway, so in this graph, as you can see, that they're predicting the price will slightly go up, or even if it stays actually flat, we're not predicting that prices will come crashing down in Calgary's market. And in here you can see the dark blue is detached homes, green part is semi-detached, light blue is row, and the sage color is the apartment sector. And the purple graph is actually showing you the price growth in our city. So I'm not going to spend too much time on getting into the details of this report. If you want this report in full, you can definitely contact us and we can send it to you. Now here in this graph right here, this is really important that you pay attention, because the forecast here is about the price comparison. This is about the benchmark price. As you guys can see that, in 2023 and 2024, all prices were going up. Actually, apartment sector had like really good gains, same as detached and even the townhouses. In 2025, you can see right here the prices started coming down, even though the detached homes didn't come down that much, and the semi-detached price also grew, but the other two sectors, row and apartment, they came down. And this is why I circled this part, because you can't see detached home price in there. They're showing there's a growth about 0.08%, which is not significant. Some of you would probably say, oh no, the price is going to come crashing down. Even if they come down by 1%, would that make a huge difference? No. But if you are thinking to buy a condo, yes, that will make a huge difference. If you're thinking to buy a townhouse, obviously that will make a huge difference. But in detached and semi-detached homes, that's what they're predicting the price growth in Calgary. Now, what are the reasons behind all this? If we need to always know what is going on, what is happening here, why are they giving these numbers? One thing that I can tell you, because Alberta is still quite affordable, and we still have high employment numbers. We've been trying to absorb so many people that came into our employment market into our market just so we can get things going. That is why the unemployment number was high. So they are predicting that the Alberta's GDP will still actually grow. Like in 2025, it was about at 2.3%. They're predicting it will still be in positive, but less than 2.3%. It will be at 2.1%. The other part of it, we know that Alberta's economy is quite dependent on oil and gas prices, and here you can see This is the Western Texas Intermediate. That is the price of our oil right here, which is at about in 2025 $77, and it is predicted to be going down to $65. But Alberta's GDP will still be in a positive territory at 2.1% in growth, because our economy has been diversified quite a bit. Other companies have come into play, like even tech sector is investing quite heavily here as well. This is the employment number change. Now you guys can see that the employment was at about 4.3% in 2025. They're predicting it to be about at 0.4%, but the unemployment rate will also drop to 7.4% from 7.5%. So even though we're predicting that people will still be moving to Alberta, but not at the same rate, but the unemployment rate will stay pretty steady to what we had in 2025. So Alberta's population growth. Now, some of you in the past made comments on our videos saying, hey, you know what, everybody's leaving Canada, everybody's leaving here and there. Alberta's population is predicted to grow at 1.5%, and which will be down from 2.5%. But Calgary's population is also predicted to grow at 1.3%. Most of you guys know Edmonton is a lot more affordable. House prices are way less than Calgary, but they're catching up. But that is where most of the people are most likely will be moving. So Alberta's population is supposed to be growing at 1.3% instead of 3%, which we had in 2025. So as you guys can see right here in this graph, that this is our population growth of Alberta. And for the past quite a few years, since 2005, we have been gaining people in Alberta, and then you guys can see the big jumps in 2022, 2023, and 2024. Even in 2025, we gained more than 20,000 people. We're still predicted to grow population in 2026. So that probably really tells you what is going on, why we are predicting that, what kind of market we should be expecting. But now let's just focus on what is happening in the real estate market. Now we know that the biggest part, I hope you guys remember that I was talking about that builders will determine the price, and once they set their price that they can't go any lower than that price, then the resale value of other houses will start following that. The biggest part in Calgary's real estate market that is affecting everything, and that is the apartment sector. Now, when you look at everything, now one thing that I want to mention that you guys probably know, that federal government had some programs where they kind of felt like there is a shortage of housing, and they started some of the programs like CHMC funded mortgages, where you could find a property that is rental, and they would fund it if it actually had some of the units below rental market value. But that is where a lot of apartments sector started to explode, and that is where the problem is coming from. It's not just the condo units, it's the rental units as well. Now, when we are looking at the 2026 market, now take a look at these numbers. These are from year to date in up to November 2025. You guys can see detached homes completions were 7,000, and then apartments there were more than 11,000. And then when it comes to under construction, we had about close to 4,000 detached homes under construction, but apartments 17,771, which is a huge number. Now, when it comes to rental, you guys can see that most of the properties are not going to be rental when it comes to detached, semi, and row. But look at the apartment rentals that are going to hit the market in this year and next year. 62%. That is where everything is changing when it comes to market for condos. So in this one right here, you guys can see the rental and condo difference, where there are, in the past, usually we had more residential condos being built, The navy blue side shows you that, and the sage green side shows you how many apartments are being built as rental. But take a look at 2025, that changed, and it is changing in 2026 as well, where there are a lot more rental apartments going to hit the market, and condos are even like for residential condos are not even being built at the same speed. And this is where in this graph right here, it shows you the new home inventory. Now the sage green side shows you the apartments. You guys can see we had a huge inventory in 2018 to 2021. Then market went really crazy, and you guys can see the navy blue is the detached market, and then we have the semi-detached on top. But the apartment sector is going to basically explode, which is not really good for the market. But why am I showing you these numbers? Just because if you're thinking to even invest or even buy properties, as I mentioned even in the past, detached homes, market is not going to change much. But apartment and condo sector, it is definitely going to see actually the damage that is going to be done in that market. So number of units under construction these numbers are from October 2025. You guys can see how many homes are being built. In the Northeast, there are 413 detached homes built, but look at the apartment numbers. In the Northwest, there are 848, and look at the apartment numbers, that's above 5,000. So that is why the market is very different for condos. Now, I'm going to show you numbers right here, and these are the rental units under construction, and then the condo units under construction. This is showing you basically what is happening in the whole city. And in Calgary right now, rental units, they're pretty close to 12,000, 11,800, and under the residential condos that are being built, they're close to 8,000. That is a huge difference. So as I mentioned, there are a lot more apartments going to hit the market in 2026 and also in 2027. So if you are in a condo market, then you need to make sure that you make that decision as soon as possible. Now this is right here is the price of detached homes that is predicted in Calgary. It is in 2026 forecast, it is going to be pretty close to slight increase in 2026, and we'll see how it really turns out. As I mentioned, there are some factors that will make a difference, and we'll have to follow that. And this is where it is showing you the benchmark price for all different districts in Calgary. You guys can see only the east side has the lowest price, 513,000. Northeast is not very far. It is still above 600. North is at 672, but all the other areas you guys can see have really high benchmark price for Calgary. And when it comes to different parts of the city, what kind of price growth are we expecting? You guys can see in this map here that in the north there is prices are expected to decline by basically 1%. As I mentioned, that's not going to make a huge difference. And same thing in the northeast, the multi-story houses here might see somewhere close to 2% of correction. And the east side of Calgary will also see one story close to 2% and multi-story about 1%, but the rest of the city is expected to have their benchmark price go up in 2026. Now, can you guys imagine that not just Calgary, all the areas surrounding Calgary are in positive territory other than Airdrie. Even in Airdrie, they're predicting the price adjustment on detached homes will be actually adjusted to about 1.61%. And in this map, you guys can definitely see what kind of months of supply we're looking at. Chestermere and Canmore has the highest months of supply, where the other ones, Okotoks, it's crazy. Their months of supply is only sitting at 1.88. High River is at 2.34. Those cities are still busy, and we know some of the realtors who are working in those communities are really busy right now. So that was the report. That's what we've been talking about in the past, the detached homes. If you are thinking to buy detached homes, prices are going to be pretty flat, close to, like, I mean, there is going to be slight increase, but obviously depends upon what community you're buying it in. But if you're thinking to buy, then make sure you take advantage of these interest rates and also the market. And you work with a realtor who can negotiate everything really good for you. And on January 28th, we're expecting Bank of Canada to make a statement about the interest rates, and we're not expecting them to change the interest rates at this time. And here are all the banks that are offering different interest rates. Make sure you talk to your mortgage brokers and see what kind of interest rate you qualify for. If you're working with us, we can definitely set you up with some of the best brokers who can offer you really good rates. And let's get back to our weekly report. Now, you guys will see that here, the number of listings have started to go up, and at the same time, solds have started to go up now. New listings, 621 new listings came into the market, 50 were back onto the market, 266 properties saw a price decrease, 9 properties saw a price increase, 383 properties were pending, 310 properties got sold. So things have started to move now. 74 properties got expired, 3 properties were withdrawn, 128 properties were terminated. If you are thinking to buy or sell real estate, please give us a call. We will be more than happy to assist you. My phone number is 403-689-2345. Thank you.